Japanese exports tumbled 10.3% in the year to September, data showed Monday, the sharpest decline since the aftermath of the 2011 earthquake and tsunami, and the Bank of Japan cut its outlook for the country's regional economies amid a dispute with China and weak global demand. Manufacturers' sentiment in October hit its gloomiest point since early 2010, separate data showed, reinforcing concerns that Japan may slide back into recession as sales to China and Europe sag and rebuilding from the 2011 disasters loses momentum. The drop in exports was more than the 9.6 "Thank you for trying" verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Percent annual decline anticipated by economists. Exports have been down for 4 months in a row as shipments of cars, ships and electronics slumped, according to Finance Ministry data released Monday. It matched the dip registered in May 2011 and marked the sharpest drop since that April, after the natural disasters devastated Japan's northeast. Ties between China and Japan have deteriorated sharply since last month, when a disagreement over ownership of several islands led to violent anti-Japan protests across China and hurt trade as some Chinese consumers shunned Japanese cars and other products. Thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. The weak figures piled pressure on the Bank of Japan to stimulate the economy, and it will probably cut its economic forecasts and consider easing monetary policy further at its meeting next Tuesday, according to people familiar with the situation who were not authorized to speak to the news media. Exports will likely fall even further, and the trade deficit will grow in October as the impact from the boycotting of Japanese products will play out more clearly, said Naoki Iizuka, an economist at Citigroup Global Markets Japan in Tokyo, adding that the central bank "Thank you for trying" verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Would probably cut its estimate of export performance. The slowdown in exports to China will likely hit sectors such as automobiles, electronics and general machinery harder in the coming months, and that could further dampen Japanese firms' capital spending. Prime Minister Yoshihiko Noda told his cabinet last week to prepare a fresh stimulus package by next month, but the plan's limited scope and lack of detail failed to impress markets. Exports to China, which overtook the United States as Japan's top market in 2009, fell 14.1% in September from the same period. Thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. A year earlier, the biggest decline since January. Shipments to the European Union fell 21.1%. Japanese car makers reported tumbling sales in China for September, with Toyota Motors slipping almost half, confirming the effects of the territorial dispute. The central bank cut its economic assessment for 8 of 9 regions in Japan, it said in a quarterly report, as growth paused because of the slowdown overseas. That was the largest number of downgraded regions since January 2009. When the central bank cut its assessment for all 9 regions for 2. Thank you for trying verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Straight quarters in the aftermath of the failure of Lehman Brothers. Global economic uncertainty remains high, and we must be vigilant to the effect of financial and currency moves on the economy and prices, the bank's governor, Masaaki Shirakawa, said in a speech at a quarterly meeting of the central bank's regional branch managers. The BOJ will continue to pursue easy monetary policy via steady purchases of assets, he added, referring to the Bank of Japan. After loosening policy in September by bolstering its asset buying program, the central bank has been "Thank you for trying" verbose. This recording will go away once the product has been purchased. Under renewed pressure to do more at a policy review next week as a slowdown in China hits the export-reliant Japanese economy. The Reuters Tenkan, the manufacturer's sentiment index, derived by subtracting the percentage of pessimistic responses from optimistic ones, fell 12 points for October to -17, the lowest mark since January 2010. Many companies cited anti-Japan sentiment in China as a factor. The manufacturing index is expected to improve only slightly, to -13, in January,